Tonight, severe storms move through parts of North Texas, leaving damage behind. A wall of smoke and flames that just keeps growing. Tonight, the devastating loss.
This is the front line of a wildfire burning here in Palo Pinto County since Monday night. Firefighters attacking the fire both on the ground and from the air.
Smoke in parts of the Metroplex today from the Ross fire. I'll let you know how long that will stick around, and I'll have the weekend forecast coming up.
The fight over a proposed data center in Westlake goes to court. And the search for missing Americans is underway after deadly flash flooding in Nepal.
Oh, wow! Hey, Garmin, save
Severe
video.
storms moved through parts of North Texas tonight. This was the scene of a transformer blowing near Keller. After weeks of calm, dry weather, some areas got hit by a short burst of wind and rain.
Yeah, and some of those gusts were strong enough to cause damage like you see there behind us. I want to give you a look here. The storm also tore down the front of a business in Watauga, and some of the debris is weighing on power lines. Cole Sullivan is live at the scene. Give us a sense of what you're seeing right now.
Well, Chris, the update we just got in the last 15 minutes from city officials here in Watauga is that one person was injured in these storms. That person is stable right now. Folks I talked to say these storms came through fast and they went through just as fast. And this is the damage they've left behind. You can see debris still on the ground here and the facade of a building that has come down. This is an auto body shop, and that debris from it is spread across the street and the sidewalk and the parking lot. Here is a closer look at damage from earlier tonight. North Richland Hills officials and Watauga officials, this all happened right on that line between these two cities around 6 o'clock. And this is the wild thing. It is so localized. A business owner we talked to said it happened fast. It started to rain really hard. Hail started coming down. And then suddenly he heard the building next to him collapse. I also want to show you what's going on in the neighborhood just behind here. Tree branches down across this yard. The homeowner there says some shingles are off his roof and there's damage to his pickup. But he actually got emotional because he was seeing what we were, that some strangers and neighbors were all stepping in to help.
It just goes to show that there's still great people out here. I'm very grateful that nothing happened to us, you know. I'm grateful that a tree didn't go into the house, but it was a natural disaster that, you know, you never know what Mother Nature has in store for you.
And we've seen it blocks different from other blocks, some with damage, others with no sign that anything happened. The storm did knock out power, North Richland Hills officials say, to about 2,000 people. About 100 people called for help, mostly for stuff you'd imagine like downed power lines, traffic light malfunctions, and gas leak investigations. That person who was injured on the Watauga side of the city line is stable. As I mentioned, we're working to learn more about just how seriously they were hurt. North Richland Hills officials say that their damage estimate is just beginning. We're seeing folks coming in to do some of that damage estimate right now, and the cleanup tonight is just going to continue. Back to you.
That was a sweet man you interviewed, Cole, clearly shaken up. Glad he's okay. We also saw small hail in some areas. Jason Goins shared this video of dime to nickel-size hail in Keller. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkas. Pete, any more rain tonight?
No, we're finished with the rain tonight. We had one thunderstorm. That's all it was. The strongest winds that were measured were 51-mile-an-hour winds. When you look at damage like that, the winds could have been close to 60 miles an hour. So it didn't take a whole lot to create that damage. As we look right now across the area, and it was pretty localized. I mean, it was right there in just really in that part of Tarrant County. It more than likely was just a downburst of wind. So some wind that was rushing out of a thunderstorm. As it hits the ground, it spreads out. A microburst is the same thing. It's just on a much, much smaller scale. So this looked like a downburst because it was a fairly good sized area that could have been a couple of miles in diameter. So that's what it looked like tonight, a microburst. And as we look out there right now, all quiet here, then our attention goes to the fire. I mean, we are looking at the Ross fire, 80,000+ acres, 12% contained. It started down to the south. As the winds blew it up to the north, it moved into, this is Jack County, this is Palo Pinto County, of course, PK Lake there. It's about 28 miles in length. That's about the distance from downtown Dallas to downtown Fort Worth. The winds right now are starting to blow everything more to the west, away from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We had some air quality issues today. Here's the wind and the smoke forecast tonight. That's midnight tonight. Look at that. Everything blows away from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll keep those easterly winds around as we head through the day tomorrow. So good news for the folks here in the Metroplex. Bad news if you live out around Abilene or Albany or even Haskell. I'll be back in a few minutes. We had triple digits today. I have a lot more in my forecast. I'll have the weekend outlook and your Labor Day weekend forecast too coming up.
Well, the Ross fire has been burning for more than 48 hours now with no end in sight. The fire has consumed 80,000 acres in Palo Pinto and Jack counties. Only 12% is contained. Officials tell us they have more than 100 crews battling the flames on the ground as planes and helicopters drop water from the air. No one has been injured, but it's destroyed multiple structures so far. Scoop Jefferson has been following those crews all evening and just spoke with a family who escaped the flames.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. We're live on FM 16 in Palo Pinto County, where over the last 24 hours, much of the fire has been in this area, especially the front line. You probably can see a haze behind me from the smoke that has happened because of the fire. Behind me is a strike team. They're keeping an eye out for pop-up fires in this area. Now, they have had some wins against the wildfire, but they've also lost some structure, including the business of a family I just talked to who got out just in time.
While making their way to safety Monday during fast-moving flames, Buddy Rochelle and his family watched years of their hard work be destroyed by a wildfire.
When we drove across the bridge that night, it was already dark. It was about 9. And you looked up there, and like I said, I'll show it to y'all, and I go, this ain't good, y'all. This is bad.
The Ross fire has already burned 80,000 plus acres across parts of Jack and Palo Pinto counties, authorities say, after starting Monday near US 180, spreading quickly to parts of Grayford. That's where Katie Rochelle's firefighter husband called from the front line, warning them to get to safety.
It was scary. My kids were crying the whole time. We saw in flames everywhere coming straight towards us. Everybody said it was going to miss us. It did not miss us.
Once back home, their company building and everything inside melted to the ground. The intense heat also melted part of their canoes. The flames just feet from their home. Katie's husband, Waylon Taylor, and fellow firefighters arriving just in time.
We stayed out there for a long time putting water on it, then went back and got some more assignments and went back to work.
Buddy says people not only called his cell phone to check on them nonstop.
Bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bong, over. I couldn't believe it did that for like 5 hours in a row.
And to their surprise, a business neighbor started this fundraiser to help them as Waylon went back to the wildfire front lines. Firefighters from across Texas working nonstop to try to contain the fire on the ground and from the air. And although just talking about their destroyed family business makes Buddy tear up.
We'll be back. It may be next year, but we'll be back.
So I pray that at least one of them just want to keep this going.
He and his daughters say they'll work to make sure Rochelle's canoe rental gets passed to the next generation. In Grayford, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
The smoke from the fire is having an impact across North Texas, especially for nearby school districts. And Adriana de Alba found it's also sending people to emergency rooms. A lot developed this afternoon, Adriana.
Yeah, and very quickly, Izzy, we saw a lot of alerts coming out from school districts. They are quickly responding, to smoke concerns, limiting outdoor time for students. I was in Tarrant County this morning, stepped outside for just a few minutes, and you can instantly feel your eyes burn. That's the big takeaway today. You don't have to be in Palo Pinto County to see or feel the impact of this fire. This is what our Fort Worth tower camera looked like today. You can see that hazy sky. The smoke is forcing school districts across North Texas to make some changes to their plans. Fort Worth ISD canceled all outdoor after-school activities and practices today. 2 elementary schools also canceled outdoor recess as a precaution. Weatherford ISD is moving recess, athletics, and other practices indoors when possible. And the list goes on. Aledo, Garner, and Poolville ISDs are also limiting outdoor activity. Lots happening there. Doctors at Cook Children's say within the last 24 hours, the ER saw an increase in kids coming in for asthma and respiratory issues, and many of these cases are related to the fire.
I think we all need to be concerned, definitely with our children. I think we need to be limiting our kids outside, especially if they're playing sports. I mean, they're at risk for having these acute exacerbations that can be deadly.
And with high school football games scheduled tomorrow and Friday, some districts might have to make those tough decisions to cancel if these conditions continue. So we will monitor that. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adriana. New tonight, a federal judge just sided with Texas, denying Minnesota's request to extradite an ICE officer to their state. Christian Castro is charged with shooting a man through a door and lying about it during an immigration crackdown. A judge in Minnesota issued a nationwide warrant for his arrest, and authorities apprehended Castro in southern Texas back in May. Minnesota prosecutors say Governor Abbott refused to sign off on extradition, and the judge has ruled he can't order him to do so. Under Texas law, Castro has to be released after 90 days in detention, which means he'll likely go free tomorrow.
A judge heard arguments today over whether to keep a temporary injunction in place against a proposed data center in Westlake. Plans call for it to be located near the Keller City line. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse concerned about the project's proximity to homes in nearby Keller and its potential impact.
We were blindsided. I think the whole community was blindsided.
Attorneys for opponents argue the town made zoning changes without proper notice. Westlake and the developer disagree and want the case dismissed. The judge is expected to rule by next week.